Okay. Okay, I welcome all of you to this very, very special meeting. Special because it all impacts all our life. I thank all of you for joining us in this very enthusiastic mode. They say well begun is half done. We had a little commotion in the beginning, but I'm sure we are going to do it fully all the way. So be with us and we start the program today. I request all of you to please stand up for the national anthem.
A very good evening and a very, very warm welcome to all present here today for this very necessary and important session on making a will, when and how to execute. I am Rotarian Seema Patole from Rotary Club of Mumbai Mahim. I now request President Rotarian Usha to give the welcome address.
A warm afternoon to all of you. I welcome each one of you to this session. I first of all thank eminent lawyer, advocate Vidyadhar for joining us and addressing this audience on a very, very important topic. I also thank all of you who have registered, who have put in their questions, and those who have joined us enthusiastically today on this very session. Will has always been a very morbid session, a morbid topic to discuss. Might be one generation back, our fathers or grandparents would never have thought about writing a will. It was taken for granted that it will move from one generation to another. Currently, the topic of will is being addressed. At least people understand that there is a need to have a will. There is a need to understand some of the regulations, the statutory ones that is required and important. Still, we are almost confused. Many times we shy away from creating a will, mainly because we don't understand what is involved. Second, we think our life is going to last much, much longer. We don't want to think about death, correct? And we feel will is very, very connected to death. I don't think so. Will is actually, the moment you write a will, I think we can live a much peaceful life. All our work, all our life we spend to earn a penny each and then accumulate that, and suddenly being sure that whatever we have done is would be safely passed on to our relatives, our family would itself make us very, very secure and would help us to live a much longer life. That's what I feel. I take this opportunity to welcome all of you. You can request, or we request that any queries that come up, any questions that you want to ask, please put it on the chat box and it would be addressed. As long as possible, please do not, please be careful about your environment and ensure that there is no talking or background noise that happens. And without taking much more of your time, I just pass it on to Seema to take over the proceedings. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rotarian Usha. I now request Rotarian Prakash Samudra to speak on RCMM special projects.
Thank you, Usha. Am I audible? And Seema? Very good. I do not want to come in a very interesting discussion, all of you, but this is a Rotary Club of Mumbai MIME program, and it will be out of, not in the right way if you do not talk about RCMM, the MIME Club. We are a like-minded 55 people with about 70% women folks in our club, have been serving the society for last almost 18 to 19 years. One of the hallmark project of our club is the heart surgeries for children. And I just want to spend 1 minute or 2 minutes and then we will go to the program. In India, approximately 28 children are dying out of 1,000 children every time when they are born. So our mortality, children mortality rate is about 28, which came down from 49 in 2009. And one of the main reasons for this mortality rate is the congenital heart problem of children. And we notice that almost 1% children are born with this heart issue. And if they do not operate in time, they are not going to survive. And this is the biggest problem of the nation today. Just to give an idea that there are about 5,000 children in Maharashtra waiting for surgery, and across the country about 1 lakh of children are waiting for surgery. And the surgery is done in a very special hospital where you must have a heart specialist for children, you must have ICU for children, and you must have all the facilities which is required for a 5-star hospital. Now, Rotary Club is taking this this challenge, and we are trying to help the society. Last year, I'm very happy to inform you that through CSR, we got fund from HDFC and we performed 40 operations. Wow. There are 7 types of operation, starting from rupees 75,000 up to 5 lakh. We get the money from the CSR, we get from the various Rotary clubs. This year last year we did 40 operation. This year we again got 62.5 lakh from HDFC, which was supported by a couple of clubs like Airport Club, Corporate Club, and one more club. And we also went for a global grant, and that amount became 2.5 crore rupees. The money has come from the global grant from Rotary with the support of HDFC. Other thing is one of the largest CSR project, and we want to conduct 100 operations for children. The rate of success is almost 95%. So I thought I'd just bring the glimpse of that to you. It's a very interesting subject to our heart, and let's wish that we get more donors in future, that we can conduct more operations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rotarian Prakash. Now I request Rotarian Kavita Ambekar to introduce our speaker for today, Advocate Shri Vidyadhar Shintreji. Over to you, Kavita.
Thank you, Seema. Good evening. I'm Rotarian Kavita Ambekar. I'm from Rotary Club of Mumbai MIME. I have a great honor to introduce well-known advocate Vidyadhar Purushottam Shintreji. He's eminent lawyer from Pune, having civil, labor, and corporate practice for 50 years. He has been advising several prominent corporates like Tata Motors, Bank, Mahindra, Bajaj, Dena Bank, Walna and Krishna Sahakari Karkhana, and several others.
I think, Kavita, 1 minute. Somebody has kept the mobile on along with the laptop. There are 2 phones. That's why I have to mute. Others have to mute. Usha Bansurji, please mute. Please mute.
Sujit Gopal Krishnan, please mute yourself.
Yes, Sujit Gopal Krishnan.
Thank you.
Sujit के नाम पे होगा.
Yes, Kavita, please continue.
Okay, thank you, Seema. So, Mr. Shintre is eminent lawyer from Pune, having civil, labor, and corporate practice for 50 years. He has been advising several prominent corporates like Tata Motors, State Bank, Mahindra, Bajaj, Dena Bank, Varna and Krishna Sahakari Karkhanas, and several others. He had been the past president of Federation of Labor Law Practitioner Association, as well Maharashtra Mitra Mandal Education Society, Rotary Club, and few more. He had been invited to deliver lectures at many prominent institutes on legal cases such as famous Vasanta Vyakhyanmala, Senior Citizen Club, Rotary Club, Kirloskar Foundation, etc. Ms. Advocate Shintre has written many books, and which includes Handbook on Labor Law, 10th edition, Law of Debt Recovery, 2nd edition, and in Marathi, Janahit Yachika, 3rd edition, Kase Karave Mrutyupatra, 7th edition, etc. These books are in great demand. His book Janahit Yachika was awarded Lokahitavadi Gopal Rao Deshmukh Award. We are very fortunate to have with us a versatile, knowledgeable, well-known personality. His speech today will be covering a very important topic of will, which is of great importance to all of us. So may I now present to you Advocate Vidyadhar Shintre. Sir, I invite you to deliver your lecture to this august gathering who are eagerly waiting to hear from you. Over to you, sir.
Just a request to all, kindly stay on mute and you can send in your questions on the chat box if required. Thank you very much. Please take over, sir. Kindly unmute yourself, sir. You're on mute.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Thank you. At the outset, thank you all for having invited me to give a talk on a subject which is very relevant today, but has been neglected for various reasons. Some of you must have noticed a news item in Times of India and Economic Times about 2 or 3 months back that during this pandemic period, the number of persons who were desirous of executing the bill has gone up by leaps and bounds. And naturally so, it was a reaction. But even otherwise, during peacetime, during normal time, this atom needs to be attended to by all concerned. Now, before I begin with the subject, the office bearers of your club had sent me a list of questions, which are about 57. I have gone through them. Now, almost all of the questions would be answered during my talk. If by any chance, my talk does not cover your specific question, you may again ask the same question at the end of the session. Now, out of 57 questions that I have received, there are few questions which are highly personal. So those questions, I will not be in a position to answer them. 2 questions are beyond the subject matter of the topic of the day. So those questions also will be deleted because in legal format, we talk only on relevant topic, relevant points, and anything beyond the brief is not taken care of. Now, so far as the will is concerned, there's always a confusion, terrible confusion amongst the literate, amongst the illiterates, and more so among the literates and educated, is that nomination is equivalent to will. Or nominations, some of them think that supersedes the will. So in today's topic, what I have decided is that first I will deal with the nomination. It's relevant to the will. Then second, will which pertains to you as a person, in the sense advanced medical directions or living will. That is how what medical treatment should be given in case there is no hope of your living as a person. And then lastly, we will come to the will, which will not benefit you, but will benefit someone else after your death. That is regarding your movable and immovable property or intellectual property rights. And then in the process, we would examine various aspects of the will. I'll try to finish off the whole discussions within, say, 50 minutes, 45 minutes, because 45 minutes have been allotted to me. I'll keep a watch on my wristwatch. And if I exceed, the president always has a caution bell which you can use. Now, coming to the nomination, let us be very clear on this, very, very clear, without any shadow of doubt, that nomination will never supersede the law of succession. It's only a convenience made for the benefit of, not of the nominee, but of an institution like the bank or a cooperative society or a company, or under the new labor code which is coming. Even a worker can nominate all his benefits under the provident fund, gratuity, bonus, and all that. So what happens is that once a nomination is made, the institution with which the nomination has been made makes the payment to the nominee or transfers the ownership, the rights, so far as its record is concerned, in favor of a nominee. But this nomination does not take, underline the words, does not take away the rights of succession. So let us take a concrete example. A husband nominates his wife on the fixed deposit receipt or on the share certificate of a cooperative society. And after nominating, he does not do anything. Then after his death, as per the law of succession, the heirs of the first degree, that is his wife, children, son or daughter, are entitled to have a share in the property. So what the other heirs would do is to, the society or the bank would transfer the fixed deposit receipt or the accounts or the share certificate in the society in favor of a nominee. And then what the heirs would do is to claim their share from the nominee. Now, if this point is clear to you, no further discussion on the nomination is required. So you go on doing nomination, that will only be for the benefit of the institution with which the nomination is registered. That is LIC, company, fixed deposit receipts, the provident fund, public provident fund, shares, mutual funds, name anything where the nomination provision is available. Do the nomination, that will inure for the benefit of one nominee and the other the institution. Besides that, the nominee cannot under any circumstances say that he is the full owner or a legal owner. Let's take a little further case, that a nomination is made in favor of an outsider, that is, who is not a family member, say cousin brother, and all family members are the successors, that is wife and children. So the nominee, even if the assets are transferred in his name, will be liable, he will act as a trustee and will be liable to part with that particular property in favor of the legal heirs. Now, what happens here is, if the will, besides the nomination, if the will has been made, then the nominee will have to act as per the will. In the absence of the will, the law of succession will override the nomination. I think this emphatic statements should be in a position to clarify almost 21 questions on the nomination which I have received in direct or indirect form. And besides that, if there is any confusion is left out, or if any further clarification is necessary, we would consider that as and when the question is raised at the end of during the question answer session. That takes me to the second aspect about the living will or the advanced medical directions. This has become very necessary, especially amongst the middle class, higher middle class, and the rich persons, wherein the good medical treatment is available, the funds are available, there is insurance policies enable the person to spend a lot of money. What happens in old age, the life expectancy is going beyond imagination now. These days, any person in the average middle income group expects to live up to 80. Those who are lucky see 85, 90, 100 also. With the advancement in the medical treatment and the life support system, even if the person is dead in all respects, that is, his brain has stopped functioning and the heart is only pumping, the ventilator is giving the oxygen, and he is alive, there are no chances of his survival. Or that the kidneys have failed and he is undergoing dialysis also fails. Those who are in the medical profession from the club would appreciate more that the patient would be virtually dead in the practically dead in the absence of the life support system. It is only because of the life support system and the fat bank balance that is available, that's why he is alive. We have seen many cases. You must recollect the case of Shanbag. Do you remember? The nurse from KM hospital who survived.
Please place your phones on mute.
I've stopped because the. Shall I start?
Yes, sir, please.
The Shanbag case, wherein that unfortunate nurse was only alive so far as legal terminology is concerned, but the day her life support system was taken away, she had gone. Now, what happens is that unless you have made a declaration yourself, the legal air find it and the doctors find it very difficult to discontinue the medical treatment. And ultimately, what is the point in having such survival, vegetable survival, if you have reached a point of no return and you have nothing to look forward to? Supposing if I'm 85 years old and there are absolutely no chances of my retrieval and leading a normal life, I must make a declaration in time while I am in census that beyond a particular stage, medical treatment must be stopped. This is not an enforceable document. Supposing if this is not complied with, nobody is going to prosecute you. But what happens if such advanced medical directions are written? Then the doctors who are treating you and your near relations, like the spouse, children, get a moral support that they also get a clarity that this particular person was not interested in a vegetable life. I'm sure None is interested in the vegetable oil. Why we take a treatment? Because we hope that we will come back from the hospital on our legs. In that hope, we get admitted in the hospital. But if that hope is lost, then we must make a declaration in advance. This is known as advanced medical direction. It started as a living will in Europe, Canada, and America. In our country, this has got a recent judicial backing under the decision of the Supreme Court, which states that just as you have a right to life as a fundamental right, you have a right of dignified death. You have a right of a dignified death, and you are entitled to take a decision as to when such life support medical system, medical treatment should be stopped. And this is not only your declaration. This would be supported by the treating doctor's advice also. Treating doctor must certify that beyond this point, this person is not likely to recover. Or if he recovers, his existence will be like a vegetable. Now, on this advanced medical treatment, what is necessary is, there are two advantages of this. One is you die in a dignified manner. Number two, you can also make a declaration in this will that your organs, because the organ donation is successful while you are alive, and your brain is dead, but otherwise you are alive. So what can be taken away is liver, kidney, if they are functioning, eyes, and biggest one is the skin, especially of the back. Now, all these items will be useful it will give a new life. You will live, or you will see the world through your eyes when those eyes are transplanted somewhere else. Your skin will get the sensation when it is transplanted somewhere else. Your kidney will give a life. Your heart will get a life. Your heart is also gets transplanted now. Being Rotarians, you will understand the significance of this donation in a much better manner. And in fact, I believe Rotary, some district in Maharashtra, there was an organ donation drive last year, wherein the organs were donated, eyes were donated. Now, when you make such will, the essential condition is that this will must be signed by your near relations only. For other will, you can take the witnesses of anyone's witnesses. But this medical will, advanced medical directions, must be signed by your nearest relative, son, daughter, wife, husband, or if you do not have children, then your sisters, brothers, mother, father, anyone nearest in the relationship. If your parents are abroad, children are abroad, the nearest relation where you are executing it. So that is as far as the advanced medical directions are concerned. And this will, that is advanced living will, and the will about the property should not be confused with each other. They will never be one document. So advanced medical direction or living will be a separate document signed by the testator, that is the person who is making that particular living will, and his nearest two relations. Otherwise, it will not be valid. If supposing any strangers have, because there is a big racket going on in the organ donation also. So it should not so happen that you become, or your advanced medical directions are treated in such a manner that the organs are taken away by the racket which is involved in this particular transaction. Personally, I would highly recommend that each one of you must consider not necessarily execute, must consider this aspect of the will. And if you are convinced about the usefulness thereof, you can certainly execute that. You can stipulate that when you are branded, the life support system should be taken away. You should stipulate that if you have gone in coma and you're not likely to come back to the normal stage, the medical treatment should be stopped. The money that will be saved will be useful for the children or for your legal heirs or the beneficiaries under will. This just takes us to the most important topic of the day, that is the will regarding the movable, immovable, and other property. Other property will include intellectual property rights or some of your valuables which have no market value. There is no price tag there. For example, if you're having, say, an ornament which is 400 years old, some necklace or some diamond, it has no market value, but it has a sentimental value. How to deal with that, we will consider. Now, while considering the provisions of the will, we have simply to consider 4 points. It's not very complicated. First question is, who can make a will? A very simple question. And the answers are more simpler than the question. Any person who is major, that is, who has completed 18 years of age. Now, 18 years of age is not adequate. Second requirement is that you must have a disposable property. Supposing if I'm indignant and I have no money, what will I am going to make for? Nothing. I cannot make a pious declaration in the will saying that the Prime Minister should attack the Pakistan and take the entire possession of the property of the Pakistan state. That is not a will. I cannot say that my neighbors should not have late night parties. That is not a will. The will is pertaining to your property. So you must have a property. The third and most important, that you must have a sound mind. Sound mind, the only yardstick of a sound mind is one, that you must know the consequences of your action. But at the same time, you must have a mental equilibrium. Supposing there is a big fight between a father and a son, or between a mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, and in that heat of the moment, the father says that I don't want to give anything to my son, and it will all go to the charities of Tata Memorial Hospital. That's not the way in which the wills are made. So two things must be taken care of. One, you must have a property. Number two, you must have a capacity, legal capacity to make a will. And that legal capacity will be tested on the ground of your age, that is, you have become a major, and that your mental equilibrium has not been lost. Now, mental equilibrium is lost on several occasions. You know those occasions. I don't have to spend time on that. Supposing you are having a weekend party and everyone is high there. And at that time, everyone is so generous that you can give anything to anyone. That is not the stage when you make a will. Or you're under force or duress. Somebody is putting a revolver on your head and is saying that you sign this particular document. That document may be will. That is not your mental equilibrium. So you must have a dispassionate view. You must have a mental peace. I'm not using the word physical, because there may be physical disabilities. You may be bedridden, but if your mental faculties are sharp, mental faculties are all right, then a person is capable of making a will. Remember, always remember, never forget that you make a will of your own property. Many times, men folks, husband, make a grave mistake that they presume that everything in the house belongs to them, including the wife's property, including what has been given to the wife. And wife also thinks that everything belonging to the husband belongs to her. The theory of Advait does not apply so far as the property is concerned. They are individual properties and you make your own will. Then once it is clear that who makes a will, then you go to the stage of when to make a will. The answer is again very simple and only one. Before dying, you make a will. Before you are dead, you must make a will. You cannot make a will after your death. Is that very clear? Now, when is your death? Do you know? You don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows when you are going to die. So, at earlier stage, you make a will. In life, will is not a one document. There are various stages in life when you make a will. Supposing if you start earning your money or making a property at the age of 20, and at the age of 25, whether you will get married or otherwise is not yet certain. I mean, either you don't like a boy or you don't like a girl, or something happens, the marriage is getting postponed. Make a will if you are having adequate assets. After marriage is another stage when you make a will. After children, you make another will. After getting children. After their schooling is over, you make another will. Will can be made as many times as you have a time and as many times as there are changes in your environment. After the children get married, you again change a will. When both of you are left, make a will. When one of you leaves this world, make another will. I'm not suggesting, but I'm suggesting these are the stages when you make a will. And remember, and if you, because when the introduction was made of the topic, everyone thinks that he is not going to die soon. I remember one story of Mahabharata. In the Darbar, a Brahmin came asking for certain alms, and the Darbar time was over because the Darbar was getting over. So the Maharaja said that now the time is over, come tomorrow. So that Brahmin, poor fellow, went home in the hope that next day will get him. Then after that Brahmin leaves, there is suddenly clapping sound came. The Maharaja asked, why are you clapping? He said, I'm very happy that you are so confident that you will live till tomorrow morning. You are confident that you will live till tomorrow morning. Supposing what happens if you die while you are sleeping, what happens? You cannot give any donation to that Brahmin. So nobody thinks that he is going to die. Remember, whenever we go for anyone's funeral, while going, we always think of that person and how the life is uncertain and all that. When we come back, we start thinking of having a cup of coffee, have some dosa in the corner, and then go home. So immediately we forget that our number could be the next. Life is uncertain, everyone knows this. That doesn't have to. And another aspect which was referred to about the blind faith is that many of us think that if you make a will, you are going to die soon. I have yet to come across a person who is not dead because he has not made a will. There is no guarantee that you do not make a will and therefore you keep on living. Another aspect is, you remember your father, grandfather, at that time, the blind faith was that if your photograph is taken, that will be used for garlanding only. That is, you're going to die very soon. The earlier, I'm talking of 60 years ago. These days, whenever a photograph is taken, everyone wants to be there in. Everyone who is in nearby will remain present for the purpose of photograph. Incidentally, another blind faith is, going back to the advanced medical treatment, there are some persons who feel or who have blind faith that if they donate a particular organ, in the next life, they may not have that organ. Now see to what extent the blind faith will go. So I asked him, supposing if you die in an accident and your body gets disseminated, you will not have rebirth in that particular case because disseminated body will be in the pieces. So there is a limit to which the blind faith has to be carried on. So coming back to when the will is to be made, make it as early as possible. And remember, will can be changed any number of times. There is no ceiling that will can be changed only 3 times. It can be changed only 4 times. Any number of times there are occasions in life it can be changed. Then the question is why to make a will? It needs to be stated very clearly that there is no law which states that everyone must make a will. If you do not want to make a will, don't make a will. There is no obligation, there is no necessity, there is no fine, there is no punishment. In the absence of will, law of succession will take care of your property. Don't worry, there will be, depending on the number of assets, the number of relatives will come forward and everything will be taken care of. Don't worry about it. But if you want that your property is distributed according to your desire, then make a will. Will is completely optional, absolutely no necessity. There are some persons, in fact, I know a person who is the head of the Nationalized Bank, and he said, "Aap mare duniya beeti, kya karna hai? Jo the legalers will take care of it. I don't want to enter into all this. They will take an equal share." But there are some reasons why the will is to be made or a thought is to be given. First and foremost is that you can distribute your wealth according to your wishes. According to your wishes. You can take care of your partner in life, spouse. Ensure that he or she lives with dignity till end. That is most important. Then second is, you can give better portion of your property to a needy person All children are not equal. All children, sons and daughters, some are very better off, some are a little handicapped, something of the kind. Some needs are better, some is educated, some is highly placed. So all this can be taken care of when you make a will. Then the third benefit is that this is a free document. No stamp paper is required. No registration is required. Law does not say that you consult a lawyer, but I say that you consult a lawyer because the purpose of making a will should be served by proper drafting. The will should not result in further complications because of the unknown legal aspects. Then many times the law is very simple in the sense that under the Hindu Succession Act, there are 4 types of legal heirs: heirs of the 1st degree, heirs of 2nd degree, heirs of 3rd degree, and heirs of 4th degree. When heirs of 1st degree are present, heirs of the 2nd, 3rd, 4th do not get. When heirs are 1st degree are not present, 2nd degree get. When 1st and 2nd are not there, 3rd get. That way it goes on. Among the 1st heirs, everyone gets equal. But there, if you remember one thing, that because of the advancement in the age, by the time we are dead, average, your children have become financially independent. So first care is of your spouse. So by success in law of succession, what is going to happen? The spouse is going to get equal to son and children, whereas in the will you can provide much more than what the law provides. That is permissible, that is justified. In the law of succession, there is no special provision for a handicapped or a mentally retarded or economically backward children. You can make a provision regarding that. Many of us have taken certain obligations from the society. That is, we have taken a scholarship. We have taken the help of some social institution, like either a scholarship, or we have been educated in a hostel wherein the society has contributed a lot, or we have taken the free ship from certain social organization. We want to repay that debt. There are some persons who have come from the villages, have stayed with their relations in the big town. So these are the obligations which you want to repay, and the will is the best provision, because otherwise, in the absence of a will, you cannot make any provision for the will. Then if you make a will, you can avoid litigation amongst the legal heirs. If there is no will, it is possible, I'm not saying that it is bound to happen, but it is possible that there will be litigation on account of the share in the property. Now, most of us always think that litigation happens in the neighbor's house. If litigation on property can happen in the house of Ambani, if it can happen in the house of Singhania, if it can happen with big cinestars, if it can happen in the Bharat Ratna Bhimsen Joshi, why it should not happen in your case? Are you satisfied that under no circumstances your children are not going to fight? Or can you say that amongst your siblings you had no quarrel? If answer is no, this is the right time. And I further say that even after presuming that there will not be quarrel, you help them by making a will so that the root cause of a quarrel is taken away. They will have to abide by the will. And next is any blame regarding disproportionate distribution will be to the testator, that is to you, who is no longer available for blame because you have passed away by the time the property is to be distributed. So these are some of the benefits which the will is giving. That takes us to the most important aspect, how to make a will and whether the will is compulsory registrable. Will is not compulsory registrable. It is optional. We will consider that. It is not necessary that you register it also unless you have a fear that any one of your successors is going to run away with the will and may not act according to it, then you have it registered. But once you register any will, subsequent document, that is the supplemental will or the codicil, again will have to be registered, or revocation of the will also will have to be registered. Then we'll consider there are 3 or 4 types of wills. First, because this has come in various questions, many husband and wife think that they should make only one will. Please do not make a joint will, husband and wife or brothers. Please do not make. The only reason is that when you make a joint will and one of the testator, either husband or wife, passes away, is dead, the remainder cannot make any changes in the will, even if the circumstances so demand. Things can change dramatically after the death of one of the partners. So please do not make a joint will. Make a mutual will, whereby the husband will support the wife's will, wife will support the husband. So there will be one mutual will, another joint will. Third is the privilege will, with which we are only academic interest. It can be made only by the armed forces people who are actually engaged in a war. And while on the war, they can make an oral will also by expressing their desire with their colleague or with the senior. Such will be valid for a period of 1 month after the peace is restored. And then thereafter that oral will is not valid. And this privilege leave of making oral will is available only to the persons in the armed forces who are actually on the battlefront. And then another type, in order to avoid the question I am just saying, is digital will. Some think that because of the advanced technology, they must make a digital will, make it on the computer, save it on the file, sign it digitally. The signatories also will sign on digital. In digital will, you're taking the greatest risk of hacking. Or if your password, if your computer is password protected, and if password is not shared with anyone, then there is a big risk. So still the situation is not ripe, in my opinion, for going in for digital will. But with this inbuilt risk involved, that is the hacking and non-availability of the password, etc. If you want to go in, that could be considered as legal. Now, how do we make a will? There are 2 essential things for the will. One is the testator. The testator is the person who makes a will. Must declare at the commencement itself that this is my last will. I hereby revoke all my earlier wills or any document which is similar to the will. And will must be signed by at least 2 witnesses. At least 2 witnesses. If you sign by chance, 3 witnesses is okay. but one witness is not adequate. And this witness must sign in presence of a testator. Testator must sign in presence of the witnesses. So please attend to this. The testator must sign in presence of a witness. Witness must sign in the presence of the testator. So both of them. 2 witnesses is the minimum requirement for every will. Now, a person who is a beneficiary in the will cannot be its witness. Reasons are obvious, because then he becomes interested and therefore he will not be. Then next clause which is required to be incorporated on all will is the residuary clause. That is, after describing all movable and immovable property, including IPR, you make a provision that beside the above property, if any other property is found at the time of my death, the same will be distributed as follows, to in whatever percentage you want to give, or in whatever manner you want to give, or to any person that you want to give. Then the will must also provide that first of all, out of your assets, your liabilities must be discharged. Maybe credit card outstanding, hospital bill, doctor's bills, advocate's bills, whatever they are outstanding, or housing loan, this and that, all outstanding, including funeral expenses. All expenses will go, and then the balance is to be distributed. Then you have to appoint executor. It is not mandatory that you must appoint an executor. It is not mandate. So even if you have not appointed anyone as an executor, one of the beneficiary can get the will executed. That's not difficult. But if you appoint an executor, my suggestion is that though it is not legal, you provide some honorarium to the executor. He has to spend some time, some energy, and everything, and an honorarium, some amount must be provided to the executor in the in the will itself. Executor can be beneficiary. Executor can be beneficiary, but beneficiary cannot be the witness. Executor will not be witness also. But executor and beneficiary can be common. There is no difficulty on that. Then you must state that as in the time of making of this will, my mental and physical condition is normal. It must appear to be normal. You should not have been hospitalized under the influence of anesthesia or some such thing wherein you were unable to consider, or you were unable to understand the consequences of your actions. If you are depriving anyone from the property, because say supposing and especially if he is your near relation, like son, if you are depriving one of your sons from the property, you must state the reasons in brief. That you can state that he is having abundant amount and it does not need any financial support, but as a token I am giving. Or that you can state that he is not looking after my interest and only the other person is looking after my interest, so therefore you are depriving. Whatever is reason, do not elaborate it. Do not elaborate the entire history of quarrels or anything, but in brief you must state the reasons for the depriving somebody. Then you must bear in mind that there is no obligation that in the will the entire property must be distributed amongst your legal heirs only. Your property, if it is self-acquired, can be given to anyone, so long as there is a caveat to this, there is a rider to this, so long as you have taken care of the maintenance of your dependents. In the sense, if your wife is dependent on your earning, then you have provided for her residence and a monthly allowance. If your children are minor and dependent on you, you must have provided there. Once you have made these provisions, there is specific provision under section 21 of the act wherein you have to make a provision for your dependents. Once you have taken care of, you can distribute the property to anyone. Will can be handwritten. It is not necessary that it must be typed or it must be a printout from the computer, or it must be a DGP print. Will is also not your autobiography. There is no need for you to write as to what hardship you have undergone, how you have built up an empire. The children know all that. Everyone is interested in what you are giving to them. The main, otherwise you can write independent autobiography and Mr. Limay will publish that. But but so far as the document is concerned, it can be brief. Now, what you state in the will, if possible, I'm very cautious about using this word, do not keep an immoral property in joint ownership. Two brothers, one sister, one brother, joint ownership, sometime or the other, they are going to fight. And you are giving a good fodder for litigation. And in litigation, you know who gains. So if you are directly working for the benefit of a third party lawyer, do not keep the immoral property in joint ownership to the extent possible. I'm quite aware that in Mumbai it is quite difficult to provide for independent ownership of every property, but to the extent possible. If that is not possible, then how it is to be divided also you can provide for. So far as movable property is concerned, you may be having various types, that is bank accounts, fixed deposits, shares. Now remember all this property in the will is owned by the testator till the date of his death.
Sir, you're gone on mute.
Video, audio,
So,
please.
voice got cut off, please.
Sir, you're on mute.
Is it okay now?
Yes.
Last one sentence.
It is possible that your 25 lakhs deposit will become 35 over a period of time. So what you do, you provide for the percentage in an movable property. 20% to this, 20% to that particular person, 40%. And for the purposes of reference only, prepare a list, but it will not be a part of the will, because this is going to change. And every time the movable property changes, you cannot afford to make a new will. So that is, so make a percentage in this will. Then so far as certain property is concerned, which cannot be divided. I gave you certain ornaments or certain furniture, certain carpets, or the certain items which have historical value like swords, old timers, or shields, whatever it is, or paintings, photographs, library. This cannot be valued in terms of money. So it should be divided, or it should be, what can be divided may be divided, but what cannot be divided must be given to the ownership of one person only. And what is scrap should be scrapped. In the sense, if you are having a car which is 15 years old, then do not give it to anyone as a liability. let it be scrap or let it be dealt with as a scrap. But intellectual property rights, that is the trademark, designs, copyrights, photographs. Now, these are the rights which are of ownership. Now, these rights, the copyrights in the books, trademarks in the business purposes which have been obtained, must be entrusted to one of the persons rather than dividing amongst the legal heirs. Once you have made up this will, in the sense movable property, immovable property, intellectual property rights, and certain valuables, then you come to the residuary clause. Then thereafter execution date and this witnesses. Remember that witnesses and the testator, the date which they put must be same. Many times it so happens that for administrative convenience, you execute the will, but your neighbor is not available who you want to invite as a witness. He comes on the 3-4 day thereafter, unwittingly puts the date on which he has signed. The document itself indicates that he has not signed in your presence and you have not signed in his presence. So all three of them must put the same date. Now this will can be put in a sealed envelope wherever you are putting up your valuables in the house. You can put it there in a sealed envelope by stating the last will and testament of so and so. There's one more aspect which remains to be discussed, is about the contents of the locker. Everyone wants that the contents of the locker should remain undisclosed to the public at large. It is quite natural. So if you are bequeathing the contents of one locker to one individual, stipulate that accordingly, that locker number so and so, all contents thereof will be given to so and so. And if you are having more than one beneficiary for the locker, then take 2 separate lockers, one to one person, another for another person, and distribute it accordingly. So take care accordingly. Whenever time and occasion arises, make necessary changes in the will, either in the form of a codicil or supplementary will. Supposing you have having one flat, and after execution of the will, after say 10 years, you acquire another flat. So at that time, this second flat may not have been mentioned in the will. So make a supplemental will and dispose this off as a second flat. Care must be taken that all your property is disposed of by will. Otherwise, if you dispose of only partial property, what will happen is that the very purpose of making a will be lost, because part of the property will go by will and part of the property will go by succession. And in that case, certain area will be available for litigation. Please do not be under impression that if by making a will, there will never be a litigation amongst the beneficiaries. Litigation will always be there so long as the mind, so long as the urge to fight is there. There are many persons who have urge to fight. And there are many advisors who are having urge to fight. Because unless people fight, unless the beneficiary fight, the judiciary doesn't function. The lawyers do not get their bread and butter. But what happens is that if the will has been made in a proper manner, then the chances In fact, you must be knowing that even Thakre's will was challenged. A few years back in the High Court, there was a litigation amongst the Thakre family also. So it is not that litigation is a prerogative of a middle class. It is of a higher class right up to the lower class. So the chances of being successful in such litigation will be reduced. While proving a will, what is seen is that the testator has voluntarily made the will, that the signature of the testator is genuine, that the signature of the witnesses is genuine, the testator was of a sound mind, and if all these perquisites, and that the will was not forced or it was not made by misrepresentation, fraud, or coercion. If these three ingredients were not present, then the will be deemed to be legal and enforceable. I think I have come to the last word because looking at the time, I had promised you I'll finish off within 45 minutes, and I hope it's the end of it. Now, if anything has remained out of the 57 questions or any additional question, I'm open for it. Thank you very much.
If I may pun on the word will, where there is a will, there will be questions. Because I think there will be questions. Because people find it a very interesting topic and people have taken a lot of deep interest in this. And I think a lot of lives are going to change for the better as a result of this session. If I may quickly address some of the questions that have been coming online. The first question is somebody has two apartments, one where the person and his spouse is the joint holder, in another the spouse and an offspring. So I think this person's question is, will the will be required for both? I think it is already answered largely in your talk that yes, as many assets as you have, it is better to make a will. So if you would like to further take anything.
No, thank you for helping me out.
It's always a pleasure to be in a company of a learned senior like you. So it gives me a little himmat to speak up.
May I tell you, Chittaranjan is also a lawyer, by the way.
Oh,
we share an alma mater, so
okay,
we are both from the prestigious ILS Law College. So,
congratulations, very good.
Okay, the next question, sir, is it mandatory to obtain probate?
Properties in Mumbai, Kolkata, and Chennai or Madras, the original act so says, which are situated in these three towns. The will is mandatory if it is made by Hindu, Muhammad, not by Mohammedans, Hindu, Sikh, Jains, Hindu, Sikhs, and Jains.
Parsis, yes.
Yeah. Parsis have independent law altogether.
Law altogether, right.
Altogether.
You have already covered
And
the points.
don't say Parsis, Zoroastrians.
Zoroastrians. I stand corrected. The next question you have covered in your talk, that is the points to remember in drafting a will. So I'll move to the next question quickly. Can nominee dispose of property before claim of a successor are made?
Legally, nothing stops nominee from disposing of the property, but he will be accountable.
Correct.
He is acting like a trustee.
Yes, that was one of the first lessons we learned when we studied succession law, that a nominee is a mere trustee of the to the estate.
Yeah. And you know how the trustees behave.
If the nominee doesn't give the dues to the heirs, legal heirs, what is the remedy?
Court, litigation.
Litigation. Right. If one doesn't have any property at present, but may have it in future, then what?
After he obtains the property, he may make a will.
Right. I think next question I'll read out, but I think you already covered it. Can husband and wife make a joint will where one will be the beneficiary if the other dies? So that leads me to another question which has come up is if you could dwell on the concept of a mutual will.
In concept of a mutual will is that this goes on for any two individuals, that is brothers, sisters, husband and wife, father and mother, any two individuals having what I would say mutual interest. So let us take the most common example is of husband and wife. Husband makes a will that on my death, all my properties will go to my wife, and after her death, or in the absence, that is, if she predeceases me, it will be distributed in a following manner.
Right.
Wife also makes a similar will provision that on my death, all my property will go to my husband, but if he is not alive at the time of my death, it will go to the legal heir. That would be the main condition of a mutual will.
Yes, I hope that answers the querist's question.
Yeah, Chittaranjan, will this be one will or two separate wills?
Two separate.
Two separate wills, sir.
So mutual will we're talking of are two separate wills.
Yeah.
Next question is interesting. My DMAT participant gives me the facility or a template of a will. Is such a will valid? Yes, I think if you dwelt on the last portion of Sir's talk, so long as those necessary ingredients are all covered, the will be valid. So that should answer that
pausing
question.
here for a moment, these DMAT wills which have been given by some of the financial institutions really do not have assessed the requirements of a testator. They don't have the conference, they don't advise the testator prior to making of will. It has become a mechanic, like hypothecation document, equitable mortgage document, they have drafted a will. So what I think is that is a very, very valuable document which will be operative after your death. Mind you, remember one thing, that when a document made by you will be executed, you are not going to be there. So you have to take into consideration all eventualities. And for this purpose, a personal approach is highly recommended. Now, I'm quite aware that for doing this, you may be spending good amount, but the amount that is involved in the will is far more than what you will be paying to your advisor. And the amount that you will save on litigation will be far more than what you will be paying to the advisor. So please do not try to save anything. So, as far as the lawyers are concerned, while making a will, satisfy yourself and then do the document.
Yes, I think whether you should consult Google for any medical ailments. Another question that's come up and it's been repeated is, can tenancy be bequeathed in a will?
No, tenancy is not transferable. In fact, the law says that if you transfer the tenancy, you are liable to be evicted, tenant.
Correct.
So therefore, I had said right in the beginning that some questions are beyond the scope of the subject. We will not get into this more than this.
Right.
And incidentally, what cannot be done by law, if it is mentioned in the will be inoperative.
It is. I think this has come from a doctor. Should I attach a medical certificate? And a supplementary to that says, is a psychiatrist certificate required? When we said that the person needs to be of sound mind and fit and
I said that person, because if it is a doctor and if he is a psychiatrist, he will know that everyone needs a psychiatric treatment. in some time or the other, everyone is a psychiatric patient. So what is necessary is that you must know the consequences of your action. And if your mental equilibrium is there, then there is no difficulty. But if you're of an advanced stage, supposing if I'm say about 85, 90, and I'm going in the hospital, coming back, going and coming, then there are serious doubts about my capacity, the effect of medicine on my mental health. In that particular case, it will be advisable, but otherwise not.
So I think the answer is, in a normal circumstance, it is not just the necessary ingredients that sir mentioned in his speech. If you cover those, then the will be valid. Can a charitable trust be made beneficiary and nominee in a flat?
Yeah.
This is a bit of a tricky one.
Yeah.
Okay. Any precautions one must take to ensure that the will is not challenged?
There is nothing in law whereby anyone is prohibited from going to the court. Anyone can go to the court at any time. Whether your case will be maintainable or otherwise, that will be decided in due course.
Right. Another question is, can employee act as a witness? Yes, so long as the person meets the criterion. Can Karta bequeath his share in the HUF?
Under Section 30 of Hindu Succession Act, it is now possible for any person of the Hindu joint family. HUF and Hindu joint family are two different. HUF is a concept for income tax, wherein even husband and wife can form an HUF, but not so under the Hindu law. Hindu uncodified law, joint family concept is different, and there, if the Karta or any co-parsoner in that particular property under Section 30 can now make a will about the share of his property and bequeath under Section 30.
Yeah, so Chittaranjan, just small pause, because he has been talking. Maybe Seema will talk about the citation which you are giving, then you can continue afterwards.
Sure.
Yeah. So Seema, please take over because he's talking continuously. Let us little bit relieve him for some time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, sir, for your very informative and valuable insight that you have been giving us on our will. Now I request Rotarian Vidya Kulkarni to please read our club application.
Thank you, Seema. Now here I take pleasure in reading the citation, which actually it's our honor that we have really come for the lecture, and it's our honor again to hand over the citation to you. See, Advocate Vidyadhar Shintre, eminent lawyer from Pune, has been practicing civil, labor and corporate law for the past 50 years. He has held several prestigious positions, such as former president of Labor Law Practitioner Association, Pune, former president of Federation of Labor Law Participation Association, Maharashtra, Mitra Mandal Education Society. He is a member of Rotary, to name a few. His clients include Tata Motors, State Bank, Mahindra, Bajaj, Dena Bank, Varna, Krishna, Sahakari, Karkhanas, and several others. He has lectured at several prestigious places in Maharashtra on various legal issues of topical interest. He has several books to his credit, which are in great demand. English ones, Handbook of Labor Law, 10th edition, Law of Debt Recovery, 2nd edition, and in Marathi, Janahita Yachika, 3rd edition, Kase Karave Mrityu Patra, 7th edition. His book, Janahita Yachika, was awarded Lokahitavadi Gopal Rao Deshmukh Award on 26th of May, 2030. See, in the current pandemic situation, each and every one of us is going through very stressful situations, and handing over our personal possessions to our progeny is of special importance. Everyone desires to dispose of his or her property movable, immovable, and intellectual as per his or her wishes. Only way this can be done is by executing will. Advocate Vidyadhar Shintre, through his engaging and content-free talk on the topic of will, has given us a rare insight and several useful tips on this emotionally soaked but a vital topic. We at Rotary Club of Mumbai Mahim are really privileged to have Advocate Vidyadhar Shintre in our midst and take great pride and privilege to honor Advocate Vidyadhar Shintre by handing over this citation at our weekly meeting held on December 5, 2020, conducted through Zoom Meet. It is signed by Rotarian Usha Session. She is the president of Rotary Club of Mumbai Mahim, District 3141. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I now request President Rotarian Usha to kindly hand over this citation to Advocate Sir, please. President Rotarian Usha.
There's no physical way, but we are physically handing over through the medium. So this is a handover of the citation to you, sir. I just share it once more on the screen. Okay.
Thank you, Lord Usha.
Yes, yes.
We would like to also welcome PDG Harjeet ji and Romi ji, PP and Senior District. You can take over and continue with the session. And we would like PD after the session.
I think there's some music going on. I just speak on behalf of PD Jayan Kulkarni, as well as our old friend and well-wisher, past president, Mr. Raman Abrol, and all the Rotarians. Welcome here. Thank you very much.
We just need to see there's some background sound coming in from somebody's mobile.
I can't make out from where it is coming. I just mute everybody, but I can't make out from where the sound is coming. I think it stopped.
Yes, yes, just mute everybody.
Okay.
Rotarian Chittaranjan, now you can continue.
Thank you.
Yes, Chittaranjan sir, let me mute all and then you can unmute and Vidyadhar sir also unmute.
Right, sir. If I may come back to the questions, a very interesting question. The next question says, in estate planning, between a trust or a will, what would you suggest?
There's no straitjacket answer like this. It all depends on the requirements and the desire of the settlor or testator.
So I think an allied question to that is benefits of trust and the tax regime. So if I may just also mention that we are planning a session on trusts, along with like we've done a session today on the will. So probably this is a question we will reserve, and we can open the questions in that session with this question on benefits of trust and tax regime. Right.
Okay, thank you.
Interesting question. What if a husband and wife die simultaneously?
What answer is expected? If they die simultaneously, it is unfortunate. That's all.
Yes, I guess if the will is made,
both of them have made a will,
yeah,
it will be executed. If only one has made a will, that will be executed. Nothing happens. And if none of them has made a will, Succession Act will apply.
Right. Slightly long question from one of the participants in the seminar today. Where both partners are leaving a will in favor of each other as beneficiaries, but need to cover for the unfortunate possibility that both partners could predecease in any unfortunate incident, the surviving minor children need to be catered for in the inheritance. how does one structure or word the will in such a way so as to cover this possibility and ensure that the assets are administered safely and securely until the children reach adult age? If at all, this aspect of possibility is or needs to be or should be factored in a will.
Now, whether this possibility is to be factored or otherwise is left to the testator himself, because it presupposes so many things. One is that both husband and wife are dying simultaneously. At the same time, children will be minor and there will be nobody to look after them. If that is going to be the eventuality, then the best course is appoint any executor and trustee company which undertakes this job along with your trusted man who will be administering the private trust that you will be creating for the benefit of the minors, and the entire proceeds of those trusts, the whatever the corpus that you have kept, will be handed over to the beneficiaries or the children after they attain a certain age, maybe 21, maybe 25, or by stipulating that certain sum must be executed, will be utilized for their education, certain amount for their marriages, and various other things. So many things will have to be taken care of in that, how the education must be provided, where it should be provided. So all that will need a special sitting with the testator.
Right, sir.
And he will have to pay a certain percentage to the executor and trustee company. The executor and trustee company will not act free of charge. You will have to pay for them. That will come from the assets of the trust. So it's not a very simple proposition. It's only an unfortunate, but it can be factored, it can be provided for, because the life is quite uncertain. And these days we come across a situation wherein minor children are left back and both parents die. So many cases.
Yeah, with faster automobiles and air travel becoming prevalent, yes, one could imagine situations. Right,
yes,
sir.
Yes.
One of the participants in the webinar wants to know what is the decision of the Kolkata High Court in the classic case of Priyamvada Birla making a will in favor of a chartered accountant for all her properties amounting to over 4,000 crores about 10 years ago. There is no news on this. I think, sir, you would be better served to search this up on Google.
No, don't search it on Google. You will be wasting your time. I was glad to know that somebody thinks that that decision will come so fast. It's at very preliminary stages of leading evidence. It has gone to Supreme Court. I think until that 4,000 crores is distributed amongst lawyers, the litigation will continue.
Right.
The litigation has not yet, the hearing has not yet commenced. You know, first thing was whether Lodha could file an application for probate. That was contested. Then second, whether the original will should be produced. That was contested. And if you see the decision, they're all top guns of India are engaged in that particular battle. Birla has vowed that they will not give anything to Lodha. Lodha has vowed that as it is, if he is not going to get anything, let at least 4,000 crores be spent on litigation. Lodha is also equally competent.
Right.
Don't worry for another, we are in 2020, no? And the questionnaire is how, should not ask her age, but maybe in 2030 or 2035, you can look for Google and the decision thereof.
Right, sir. This is a question again on the advanced medical direction. Is it true that after making an organ donation, the will also ultimately, after death, it depends on the relative's choice?
What happens is that, so far as the medical will is concerned or advanced medical directions are concerned, the situation is such that nobody is in a position to enforce it legally. in the sense that advanced medical directions have been given for donating and the near relations do not give permission for donation, then nobody is going to take them to the court and get urgent relief that, all right, take out the kidneys of this particular patient. Though it is theoretically possible, because now with the Supreme Court direction, this advanced medical direction bill is also required to be lodged before the JMFC or Metropolitan Magistrate under his signature. So it is possible, but nobody is going to do it. And but it is really unfortunate that somebody is donating and his legal heirs are objecting. In fact, among the Hindus, there is a tradition that when the funeral is performed, the last rites are performed, you go to that pinda and declare that all your wishes will be fulfilled. And if the crow does not take that, whatever is the morsel given to him, you keep on waiting there. Then you make various declarations. In fact, I would say, taking this opportunity, that it is your pious duty. It is your pious duty to ensure that the wishes of the testator are fully complied with. Otherwise, you will be suffering with papa.
Right. So the next question is will only related to self-acquired property or inherited property also?
Any property which is owned by you. Inherited property is also owned by you, isn't it?
Right.
Any property which is yet to be acquired cannot be made, but any property which is owned by you, that is acquired by you or inherited, because your share in the inherited property can also be disposed of by it. Under section 30, that question was asked some time back.
Right. Practical question, can a witness be an executor? I think you have already covered some aspect of that.
No. Witness cannot be an executor.
When you specified who should and who
witness
can.
should not transgress his jurisdiction. Let him be witness only.
Right. Another querist asked, my brother suffered from depression but has now recovered. If he makes a will, does it need to be registered? He is 67 years old.
No, but best thing is first get him examined from the psychiatrist and let psychiatrist certify that on the day of the depression is a very generic word. What was the exact diagnosis? Was it an acute depression? Was it a schizophrenia? I mean, so many kinds thereof. So psychiatrist must certify that while making a will, he was of an ordinary sound mind, knowing the consequences of his actions.
Right.
Some of them are having bipolar disorder, that is depression, and then going to another extreme, exhilaration. So that's not so simple.
Right. President Usha, how much time will we have? Can we ask a couple of more questions?
Yes, you can ask. And I see Mehul Shah has raised his hands for quite some time. So might be you just allow Mehul Shah to ask.
Sure.
You can.
He has put it in chat box. He has put his question.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I think there are a couple of questions on probate, which I think have been covered during the lecture, because sir has very clearly mentioned that if there is immovable property and it is situated within the three cities of modern cities of Chennai, Kolkata and Mumbai, then you would need to take
part of the question. This is a practice.
What is acceptable to banks and housing societies? Copy of probate or will?
What is it?
What is acceptable in banks and housing societies?
It's not a question of acceptable. What the law provides is important. The law says that if you are having immovable property in these cities, probate is necessary. But if the housing society acts divorce of the probate, nobody can stop them. But whether that action is legal or otherwise will have to be examined.
Right.
So there's no question of when the law is there, there's no question of whether the law is accepted. Law is not by choice. Law is not by choice. Law is law. Whether it is for financial institutions or otherwise.
Right, sir. Similar question is, can a registered will be challenged? If yes, what is the benefit of registration?
Registration benefit is, one is that it cannot get lost. The document doesn't get lost, or the interested parties does not ensure that it does not see the light of the day. And another is, there is a recent Supreme Court decision only has come in fortnight ago, that a registered document will be presumed to have been executed properly. So that benefit will be available to a registered document. Otherwise, both unregistered will, registered will stands on the same footing. Legality, there is no question about it.
Right, sir. Another question is it advisable that a person making his or her will, after making the will, should read the will and take a recording of the will while reading it?
What is it? Can you please read again?
Yes, sir. Is it advisable that a person making his or her will, after making the will, read the will and take a recording of the will while reading it? I would presume this is reading it aloud.
No. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Otherwise, the right of privacy is lost. You know, if you read it at the housetop, saying that, look here, this is my will, then what happens is, there is a moral difficulty. Supposing by reading a will, you have declared that particular property will go to a particular person. Once he knows that, and he changes his behavior, and because of his change in behavior, testator desires to change the will it be proper? Or the circumstances changes, that a particular person who was not given a property later on comes into difficulty, great difficulty. Supposing the daughter gets divorced and the daughter comes back home. At the time of making a will, nothing was provided to the daughter. Now you may have to provide. So for God's sake, and if you want to live in peace with your successors, do not read the contents of the will. Please don't do it. If you do it, enjoy the consequences.
Right, sir.
And one was pause. Sorry for pause.
No,
in these days, in the Hindi serial, there is a public reading of the will after the death of the testator. In the serials that we have sometimes, everyone assembles and then there is a reading of the will. Then the person who has been deprived becomes a villain. Nothing like that happens in actual life. There is no need to read the will. Only beneficiaries need to know. Sorry, go to the next question.
Right, sir. This is actually a question from the subject of intestate succession. What is the process for succession certificate? Can a will be executed partially if all legal heirs agree?
Can will be partially executed? No. It has to be executed completely.
Right.
Not the portion which you want and leave the portion which you don't want. Execute it completely, because you are accountable to the district court in district places and to the high court. You have to, the executors have to file the compliance report. Original will is deposited with the court. So it has to be done completely.
Right. A very elementary question. What is a probate?
Probate is a proof of the will having been properly executed in accordance with the Indian Succession Act with 2 executors, proper signature, no coercion, fraud, or misrepresentation, 2 witnesses assigned in presence of, and you have disposed of the property by that particular will. These are the contents.
Right, sir. A related question, what does the law state whether probate is necessary for real estate or a copy of the will is sufficient?
Copy of the will, no, probate is necessary if the property is, we again revolve around, I'm revolving around because all of you are from Mumbai. If it is the property is Mumbai, Madras and Calcutta, if the property is there, probate has to be obtained.
Right, sir. I come to the last question. Can the spouse of a beneficiary be a witness?
Avoid that, avoid that. The question itself indicates the intention.
Right.
Instead of spouse, it can be mother, it can be grandmother of the beneficiary, it can be anyone. Avoid it. There is a sound principle in law that justice should not only be done, but should appear to have been done.
Right.
And many times appear to have been done is more important than doing the justice. The papers must be very clear.
Chittaranjan, the questions are quite coming in. Maybe I can ask Raman Abroad to just say a few words. Ramanji, if you're there.
Yes, very much there.
It will be honored if you could spend some time.
I am simply overawed by Mr. Vidyadhar's explanation of each and every question. Sir, hats off to you. You are simply awesome and brilliant. I've had the privilege of hearing a lot of people speaking on various legal topics, but your explanation is exactly to the point. In fact, I was the one who asked a question about the brother having gone through depression, and the way you explained is something amazing. It is very awe-inspiring to have a person like you in the legal fraternity. Thank you so much indeed. And Rotary Club of Mumbai Mahim, you guys are doing a brilliant job. President Usha, Prakash, Anand. It's really something fabulous that you've done, because you've had 200, almost 200 people attending this, and it's really fabulous. Those are my words and my sentiments.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions, Chittaranjan? Are there?
Yeah, a couple of questions which I think have been answered by sir in his speech. Where to keep the will?
In the
safe
cash where you keep, along with the cash in your safe or in the locker or register. Keep it as safe as possible. That's all.
Actually, this is a bit of a repeat question. Can a will override nomination?
Sorry, 1 second. When
Sorry,
I'm answering, it is not at the cost of or just belittling the question, but explaining you in a very mild manner that is not for teasing you. There is no intention of teasing anyone. Don't take it as an offense. Sorry, yeah.
No, sir. So something that you had covered at the beginning, but I'll just repeat the question. Can a will override nomination?
It does, not can. You don't use the word can. It always does. And in the absence of will, only nomination does not survive. Law of succession overrides. Nomination, remove that myth from your brain, mind, and words. Nomination is not for your benefit. It is for the benefit of an institution which has to deal with the nominee. That's all. LIC nominee, it pays to the nominee. LIC is responsible. LIC gets discharged. Bank pays to the nominee. Bank is discharged. Company transfer the share certificate. Company is discharged. Housing society transfers in favor of nominee. Society discharge. Nowhere nominee becomes legal owner. Don't use the word nominee at all.
Right. One question is, if you receive property as gift, can it be added to the will? I think it was answered just a short while ago. Yes, any property that is owned by the testator the testator can include that in the will. In what cases succession certificate is needed? I think this is a topic by itself.
It's in cases where the will has not been made and where the legal heirs are contesting, in the sense that especially the brothers, sisters, whether they are real brothers or otherwise, whether so many aspects as to who succeeds whom. And especially when there are no legal heirs of class 1 degree under the Hindu law, then there is succession certificate is necessary. And again, the succession certificate is insisted upon by the financial institution, because they won't keep on deciding who is the successor of a deceased. They will say, bring the court's order or heirship certificate, either of it, and then they would deal. In order to avoid that, this nomination business has been introduced.
Right. I take up the last question now. The other questions we could take offline a little later. So the last question coming up, it's 6:30 and we have a time limit on this Zoom meeting. In an unregistered will where a property was bequeathed to the son, when the son went to change the name in the municipal records, they said it can't be changed as the will is not registered. The person who made the will is now no more. What should the son do?
Send a legal notice, provided it is not in Mumbai,
right,
Calcutta and Madras.
Where probate is mandatory, right?
No, probate is not. In these 3 places, probate is mandatory.
Right.
Yeah. Otherwise, they have to act on this.
There's the last question, Jitendra, you forgot. What is this telephone number of Mr. Shintre? People want to know.
Well, that is his privilege.
Can you put on the chat number, sir, if it is possible?
94230 47330.
9424
94230.
Okay.
47330. Comfortable time is 10 to 12 in the morning. Mr. Lima is also having that number. Why he is keeping quiet, I don't know.
I already sent you the message that shall I share the office number?
Oh, I say I did not see that.
Anand Dada only comes in when something has to be published.
My concentration is fully on the screen.
Yes,
I did not look at it. Sorry.
Yes.
Right, sir. I think all good things have to come to an end, and
thank you.
We are out of
it
time.
Was my pleasure.
So, sir, I on behalf of the Rotary Club of Mumbai Mahim, and on behalf of other Rotarians from Mumbai and participants on this webinar, it is my pleasure to thank you as also a senior, my senior in the profession, to address us, take time out and address all of us. And we will hold this, we will cherish this session for a long time. And I do hope that you will allow us the privilege of sending a few queries your way, and we could then sort of act as a conduit and then respond back to the queries.
Okay.
Thank you, Ben, and thank you everybody for your participation. I hand the meeting back over to President Usha.
We now request Rotarian Kishore Palulekar to give the secretarial announcement, please.
Shall I leave the meeting now?
Yes, sir. I think you can. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
It was very nice.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So,
thanks.
So yeah, people from
there are a few secretarial announcements. Like, we are happy to say that we have almost 190 to 200 attendant. So it was a very successful program, and we have another weekly meeting next week Saturday. And happy to announce that being 3rd December as an International Disability Day, we have arranged a talk by Dr. Eric Borges, a well-known cardiologist. The title of this talk is "All Disabilities Are Not Visible." So please attend all these in large number. Over to you,
I
Usha.
want to say a word here.
Ramanji.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Tomorrow is 6th December at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
There is the Rotel inauguration happening.
Okay.
And even though Raman Abrol is the master of ceremony, there will be tears in the eyes of Raman Abrol because RCM Mahim is not hosting it.
So our heart is also crying, sir. We're also crying at the heart, sir. We are absolutely, you are the well-wisher and the pioneer in
Somehow
Rotal. Thank
I
you
have
very
been
much.
made the master of ceremonies, and I am going to say this, that RCMM not hosting it is touching my heart.
So thank you for your sentiments. Thank you very much. Usha?
Yeah, thank you so much for participating, and see you all for the next session on another important topic. So we wish that all of you join us for the next session and take advantage of this session. Might be we all need to go and look at what we need to do immediately after attending the session. Many times the session makes a lot of impact to us, but as the day progresses, it just gets onto our backbench. I hope we take full advantage of this session and make use of
कसं करायचं असतं सीमा Zoom?
Okay, so can we sign off? All of us sign off?
Yes, and there are many people who have put their mail IDs. We will definitely make sure that the recording is shared to you also. Thank you so much.
You can put on YouTube also, no, recording.
Do that.
Vidula, how many on Facebook today? Vidula, any idea?
Around 8 people, and there was also a question which you put in the chat box.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
My daughter was also there on Facebook. Was there for some time.
Very good. I think people also came from Palghat and Kerala as well as from Solapur. A lot of people are there. Very
Thanks a lot for.
Yeah, we can stop the live Facebook.
Yes, Facebook live and recording, please stop.